Hi friend, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to discuss about how to get your student loans forgiven. How can people get rid of their students' loan debt? And more specifically, when is loan forgiveness an option? We don't need another statistics to tell us how deep in student loan debt US college graduates are. Total debt and average debt figure don't mean much, except to say that if the sums you weigh keep up at night, you are in good company. What matters is finding a solution. Forgiveness is the best kind of student loan debt relief, but it's hard to come by. Income driven repayment plans and public service loan forgiveness can erase pupils' remaining debt after many years of payment. Only federal student loans can be forgiven. Forgiveness can leave recipients with a big tax bill. Forgiveness and forbearance sound similar, but are not the same. Student loan forgiveness. Which loan are eligible? Only direct loan made by the federal government are eligible for forgiveness. Stafford loans, which are replaced by the direct loans in 2010, are also still eligible. Number 1, if you have other kind of federal loans, you might be able to consolidate them into one direct consolidation loan, which may give you access to additional income driven repayment plan option. Number 2, non-federal loans, those handled by private lender and loan companies, do not qualify for forgiveness. Number 3, in 2020, borrowers with federal student loans who attended for-profit colleges and sought loans forgiveness because their school defrauded them or broke specific laws were dealt a setback when then President Trump vetoed a bipartisan resolution that would have overturned new regulation that make it much more difficult to access loan forgiveness. Number 4, the new more onerous regulation went into effect on July 1, 2020. Number 5, as August 23, 2022, under the Biden administration, the United States Department of Education has approved $32 billion in student loan debt relief for over 1.6 million borrowers, a significant number of whom were victims of for-profit college fraud. Tip: the Biden administration announced measures to help student loan borrowers because of the COVID-19 pandemic. These include debt cancellation of up to $20,000 for recipients of Pell Grants with loans through the Department of Education, and as much as $10,000 for non-Pell Grant recipients. This is in addition to the student loan forbearance that expires on December 31, 2022. Income driven repayment plan forgiveness. For federal student loans, the standard repayment period is 10 years. If a 10 years repayment period makes your monthly payment unaffordable, you can enter an income driven repayment program or IDR. Income driven programs stretch out payments for a term of 20 or 25 years. After that term, assuming you are made all of your qualifying payments, whatever balance is left on the loan is forgiven. Payments are based on your household income and family size, and they will typically be capped at 10%, 15%, or 20% of your discretionary income, depending on the plan. Now, discuss with four type of IDEA plans offered by the US Department of Education, in addition to the repayment period and monthly payment of each. Receipt plan as you earn repayment plan. The repayment period for this plan is either 20 years if all loans under the plan were received for undergraduate study, or 25 years if any loan under the plan were received for graduate or professional study. Monthly payments are typically 10% of your discretionary income. Pay as you earn repayment plan. The repayment period for this plan is 20 years. Monthly payments are typically 10% of your discretionary income, but they cannot exceed 10-year standard repayment plan amount. Income-based repayment plan. If you didn't already have an outstanding balance when you received a direct loan or federal family education loan on or after July 1, 2014, then the repayment period for this plan is 20 years. And monthly payments are typically 10% of your discretionary income. Conversely, if you did have an outstanding balance when you received a direct loan or an fill on or after July 1, 2014, then the repayment period for this plan is 25 years. And monthly payments are typically 15% of your discretionary income. In both cases, monthly payments cannot exceed the 10-year standard repayment plan amount. Income contingent repayment plan. The repayment period for this plan is 25 years. Monthly payments are either 20% of your discretionary income or the equivalent amount of repayment plan, with a fixed 12 years payment, adjusted according to their income, whichever is smaller. An IDEA plan can be a good option for people in low-paying field who have large amount of student loan debt. If you are considering an IDEA, it's important to keep in mind that eligibility varies between plans, with some type of federal loans being ineligible for repayment under all but one plan. Additionally, you will have to annually recertify your income and family size, even if neither have changed from one year to another. How to apply? Applying for an IDEA requires you to submit an income-driven repayment plan request, which can be completed online or via a paper form, the latter of which you must request from your loan servicer. You can either choose a specific IDEA plan by name or ask that your loan servicer place you on the income-driven plan that you qualify for with the lowest monthly payment amount. First fact: if any of the loans you wish to include in an IDEA plans have different loan servicer, you will have to submit a separate request to each of them. In order different your eligibility of certain plans and to calculate your monthly payment, you will have to provide either your adjusted gross income or an alternative documentation of income. If you have filed a federal income tax return in the prior 2 years and if your current income is largely the same as what was reported on your most recent return, then you will use your AGI. If you are unable to meet either of these criteria, then an alternative documentation of income will be required. In the former case, if applying online, you can use the Include IRS data retrieval tool to pull your AGI information from your federal income tax return. Alternatively, if applying with a paper form, you will need to include a printed copy of your most recently filed federal income tax return or Internal Revenue Service tax return transcript. In latter case, if you are currently receiving taxable income, you are limited to the paper income driven repayment plan. Request and must include the alternative documentation of your income. However, if you currently have no income or if you only receive untaxed income, then you can indicate that on either application and won't be required to supply and further documentation. Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program. Student loan forgiveness for teachers is neither generous nor easy to qualify for. Teachers can have up to $17,500 to their federal direct and Stafford student loans, but not PLUS or Perkins loan, forgiven by teaching for 5 complete and consecutive academic years, at least one of which must have been after the 1997 to 1998 academic year. At a qualifying low-income school or educational service agency. Important, even if you are unable to complete a full academic year of teaching, it may still be counted towards the required 5 academic years if you completed at least half of the academic year. Your employer considered your contract requirements for the academic year fulfilled for the purpose of salary increases, tenure, and retirement, and you are unable to complete the academic year because you either returned to post-secondary education in an area of study directly related to the 5 academic years of qualifying teaching service, had a condition covered under the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, or were called to over 30 days active duty as a member of reserve components of the U.S. Armed Force. You must be classified as a highly qualified teacher in order to be eligible for the program. This means you have at least bachelor's degree, full state certification, and not had certification or licensure requirement. Waivers on an emergency, temporary, or professional basis, with additional qualification varying based on whether or not you are new to the profession. Only full-time science and math teacher and secondary level, as well as special education teacher at the elementary or secondary level are eligible for $17,500 in forgiveness. Forgiveness is capped at $5,000 for other full-time elementary or secondary education teacher. If you have had an outstanding balance on a direct loan or an fill on or after October 1, 1998, then you will be ineligible for the program. Additionally, only loans made before the end of your 5 academic years for qualifying teaching service will be eligible for teacher loan forgiveness. You can potentially qualifying for both of the teacher loan forgiveness and public service loan forgiveness program, but you can't use the same years of teaching service to meet the eligibility requirement for both programs. So you would need 15 years of teaching service to qualify for both programs. In addition to meeting all the specific requirements to earn each type of forgiveness. How to apply? Once you have finished your 5 complete and consecutive years of qualifying teaching, applying for the teacher loans forgiveness program only requires submitting a complete teacher loan forgiveness application to your loan servicer. First fact: if any of the loan you wish to have forgiven under the teacher loan forgiveness program have different loan servicer, you will have to submit a separate form to each of them. However, the application certification section will have to filled out by the Chief Administrative Officer of the school and educational service agency where you undertook your qualifying teaching service, meaning you will need to send them the form before you can submit it.